Hi, thank you all for being here tonight to kick off the festival with us. It's so good to see you and to think of the memories we'll create over the next 10 days. I've been a part of the Outfest family as the Director of Programming for 4 years now, and during that time we haven't had a female or POC honoree, so to be here to see Angela receive the highest honor of the festival is incredibly meaningful to me. She doesn't know this, but 13 years ago, I wrote a fan letter to Angela. I'm not going to read it to you. Not an email, an actual letter on paper with a stamp. I had rented a DVD from my local video store and impatiently waited for my boyfriend at the time to leave the house so that I could watch it. And that film was Debs. Debs was the very first time that I'd seen queer women on screen without them coming to a tragic end. It had never occurred to me before that film that a lesbian comedy was even possible. Within a month, I didn't have a boyfriend anymore, and I've never looked back. Every single person that I've encountered through this festival, on screen, on stage, in the audience, and in the Outfest office, has played a role in shaping who I am as a queer activist and change maker. My work at Outfest allows me to champion storytellers like Angela to help them achieve a sustainable career doing what they love. With that in mind, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the new class of Outfest directors who are here tonight. If you have work playing at this year's festival, can you please stand? Let's take a moment to celebrate them. Thank you for sharing your stories and using your vision to create meaningful change for this community. You give us a reason to wake up inspired every day. The Outfest team gets to funnel a new pipeline of content into the film and TV industry, content that is leveling the playing field and providing queer visionaries the same access and opportunities that cis straight filmmakers have enjoyed for decades. In my first year at Outfest, I brought my industry connections from a decade as a film producer to help the Outfest alumni reach new horizons. In my second year, we curated spaces for queer communities of color to come together and see ourselves on screen. Witnessing films like Spa Night, Kiki, Esteros, Jules Catch One, and Major fill huge theaters and win awards at the festival was truly triumphant. Last year, the festival achieved gender parity with 50% of the films directed by women. And now, here we are celebrating another milestone. This year, 2/3 of the content at the festival is by women, trans people, and directors of color. We've chosen to prioritize the most vulnerable voices within the community because Outfest understands the importance of visibility under a regime that is actively working to not only dismantle the rights of women, trans people, and people of color, but to erase our very existence. We're bringing these stories front and center. This year's lineup includes a powerful collection of films from first-time female feature directors, including Montana, Daddy Issues, Ava and Candela, Game Girls, Shakedown, Mr. Gay Syria, and Two in the Bush, A Love Story. Trans creators across the industry are demanding to be seen and heard in order to have their lives represented authentically. Last week, in a New York Times article about Scarlett Johansson being cast to play a trans man, the activist and actress Jen Richards was quoted. She said, "Until the world stops erasing, oppressing, and murdering us, trans women must play trans women, trans men play trans men, and non-binary people play non-binary people." She continues, "If your project needs a star for financing, then it's simply not good enough." I'm proud to say that this year's festival showcases some groundbreaking trans content, including Trans Military, Call Her Gonda, and tomorrow night's platinum centerpiece, Our Future Ends. And the Trans Summit returns for a second year. It's a place to discuss urgent issues within the trans experience and find a safe, judgment-free space to find solutions. People of color are at the forefront of some of the most impressive queer work at the festival this year, specifically 2 of our centerpiece films, When the Beat Drops and We the Animals. Putting a spotlight on these urgent and empowering films helps to shift an industry-wide culture that has marginalized communities of color for much too long. Maya Angelou said, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." Outfest invites LGBTQ filmmakers from around the globe to no longer bear those untold stories, but rather to come together to share and heal. Tonight's film shows why queer filmmakers play an integral role in unearthing the stories of our past, capturing our history for generations to come. Sexual liberation and freedom of expression are themes you'll see across the whole festival this year, but it all starts here with Studio 54. The film uses never-before-seen footage to unpack how and why the nightclub became such a landmark for queer culture. I'd like to introduce you to the director, Matt Turnauer.